Cool Geeks Tribunal, eternal, forever.
Don't you wish you were a Superman? Take off to the sky.
Yo, what is going on? It's Cool Geeks Tribunal in full effect. We are here. I'm just a hero. I want to salute the first lady of the Cool Geeks Tribunal, first female guest, Miss Rasheeda Frazier, affectionately known as Cat. I want to give a super duper shout out because this is a real life hero right here for all the people that want to embark on many dreams and goals and things like that. We need people like her from our neighborhood, from our culture, from our people that can help guide us and get us to where we need to be. In a minute, she's going to break down all of her many talents, all of her superpowers. Don't be shy now.
All right.
It's on.
I'm here.
You here?
I'm here.
All right, that's what's up. I'm glad to have you. Thank you for hanging out with me today.
No problem.
All right. You are definitely a part of the tribunal. The tribunal would not be what it is if you did not help put it all together. A couple of brothers with an idea, goals, aspirations came to you, and you helped put us on the right path. So, cups up. Cool Geeks Tribunal, full effect. We're here.
Absolutely.
So, break it down for us. Let us know your business, what it is that you do, all the great work that you do, how you help so many people, how you empower us to be great.
Ooh, how do I empower you guys to be great? So happy to be here. So happy to kind of sit in this space and this platform. I've watched this platform grow from an idea into what it is now. And I am super, super, super duper excited that Chess wanted to have me on his show. So humbled and thank you so much. Again, he said, my name is Rasheeda Frazier. Most people call me Kat. And I am the owner, founder of, and CEO of a company called Empowering Greatness, Inc. And I started this company because I saw that there was a disconnect between what our youth and some of our young adults had in their lives around options and alternatives to higher education. They were graduating high school. Some of them didn't want to go to college. They were trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What is going on? And so I kind of filled the need. I filled a void in educating them around that. And then it just turned into and morphed into what it's been. And it's been around 8-9 years now. And I've graduated over the years to helping people like yourself. You know, the whole goal of Empowering Greatness is to empower those with an idea, with an energy and an enthusiasm and a spark for entrepreneurship, to structure them and help them with their mindset and their education around entrepreneurship and help them to build their businesses. I am a foundation specialist, an organization specialist, and I'd like to say a mindset change specialist, because I get a lot of clients, such as just said, who come in with one idea and it's not necessarily the idea of entrepreneurship. So it's like, okay, let's get you to that point so that you can thrive and go. And it really is just about tapping into the power that you already have inside of you.
Yes, indeed. So you definitely know how to unlock the greatness in people, which is a special talent. You know, not everybody has that, the ability to be disciplined, organized, and help others to do the same. So many people have trouble being self-motivated. You are not only just self-motivated, but you're able to motivate others, which is no easy or small task.
No, it's not.
You know, and when we start to maybe veer off, you know how to, help people, respectfully come back into the fold so that way they could get to where they need to be. To me, that is a definite real life degree of heroism, because a lot of times we have a lot of brilliance in our neighborhoods. There's a lot of intelligence, high intelligence
There is.
that comes from where we come from, but we don't necessarily know how to always put it together.
Right.
So what was like the moment that made you say, you know what? I'm going to save these people out here, help them get their act together so that way they can reach to heights that they weren't really, maybe they weren't sure of how to get to.
It really comes from my background. Me as a kid, just growing up with my mom and my dad, just super hyper Black power vigilant. They were always about who we are, history, our culture, our greatness. We didn't learn about slaves. We learned about the kings and queens of Kemet. We learned about the kings and queens of the Nile. We learned about all of the historians who, created, just mathematics and medicine and all of these things that we see now. That was our upbringing. These are the things that we learned. So as I started to grow older, having children, looking at them, thinking about their future and where they're wanting to go, that was my real impetus to start helping, because it was helping my children and it was helping their friends at first. They were in high school, and it was like, I didn't want them to go into higher education if that's not really what was for them. I'm not against higher education. I think it's great. I am a higher education graduate, and I say go for it. But for some, their creativity would have been stifled. So I just felt it was important to give our children an alternative, and that turned into helping their parents. And then I realized in that moment when the parents began to come to me and say, I've always had this idea, I've always had this dream. I never knew how to manifest it. And I began working with the parents. That's when I realized that it was something more and it was bigger, and I could really help to affect change. I could really help to change some generational mindsets around business ownership and entrepreneurship, and really start to change our communities.
Yeah, no, that's great. It is absolutely needed. What challenges have you come across that you've had to dig a little deeper, like on this journey, so that way you don't lose your sense of purpose and focus, so that way you can remain strong and tapped in to help others get to where they need to be?
Oh, the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship, life. Without getting too personal, I'm a mom of 3. So you think about the fact that you have children, you have parents that you have to take care of, you have siblings, you have a regular full-time job, you have a significant other at one point. All these things that just kind of happen can sometimes take you off course and take you off center. But it was my children who allowed me to stay the course. They recognized my superpower and they pushed me for it. They were really, I'm trying to think of the best word, but they really were the spark. They were the spark. They were that energy that I needed to just always maintain and push forward with keeping this, because I understood that I had an assignment, and my assignment was to help people. And my assignment was to help people through my gift. And God gave me a gift of structure, foundation, research, organization, and a love for business, and a love for seeing people thrive and just be this amazing whatever it is that they were supposed to be. And that within itself is what kept me going. So there's always highs and lows. I had highs, I had lows. But watching my children watch me and understanding that everything that I was doing was not for me kept me on target, and it helped me stay focused and stay the course. And that's what helps me help other people.
Yeah, children definitely have that unique ability,
They
right?
sure
To help you tap. And that's like our natural arc reactors, to use an Iron Man
Yes.
sort of reference, that helps us to grow.
It does.
So have there been any situations where you've had like clients? Is there any circumstances where you felt like, you know what, I can't work with this person. I got to turn this one down. I would love to help my people, but this may be something where you're like, you know what, I don't think I can handle this right now.
So there's a crafty way that I do that. I can tell people that, but it won't stick until they see it. So I work with people, even though I know it may not work, because part of what I do is not just getting them to understand who they are as entrepreneurs, but it's also getting them to understand who they are when they're not an entrepreneur. Because everybody thinks that they can do it, and it's not for everybody. It's really not for everybody. So this is where I work with people in their mindset. I coach them around exactly what it is going to look like. And then I throw in a little life coaching in there too, because then I start to dissect their life, where they are, how they're going to do this, what it's going to take, what does that look like? And 9 times out of 10, I never have to say I'm not going to work with you, because I want to work with everybody. I want to work with everybody, but a lot of times what will happen is they'll realize that this is not for them right now, or this is more than what I thought it was. And I realized that this is not the direction I want to go. So even though we may not finish working together, it may only be 2 or 3 months. That was the best investment that they could have made in themselves, so that they don't waste time and money later on doing something that is not going to really sustain them, that they really have no passion and enthusiasm for.
Right. Because we often, if you have a love for your people, you understand the plight, the struggle.
Absolutely.
That we want to save everybody, but you can't.
We can't.
Right. So sometimes, unfortunately, we have to say no as much as we would love to. So just kind of wondering like how you dealt with situations like that. Now we know, aside from empowering greatness, you have multiple businesses. Your hand is in the pot. You stirring it up. You cooking it up. You on the ones and twos. You DJing life. You know what I'm saying? You remixing it. Let us know what else you got going on.
Oh, I am also the creative visionary and founder of a company called Dailies, and we make natural bath products. So I make bath salts, bath soap, bar soap, that is all natural, infused with just a whole lot of divine love. Started that project probably about 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, maybe 9 at this point. I think it was 2015. And I started that because my daughter, which she hates when I tell the story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. My daughter was allergic to everything when she was younger. And so I started making my own bath products at home so that she could be clean and she wouldn't break out. And then I did a pop-up shop for a fundraiser for some of the students at the school. And I made 100 bars of soap and I sold out of all of them. And I donated all the money to them. It wasn't really a business. It was just something I did. And it sparked really from that, because one of the customers that I had, I saw them a couple of months later and they came back and said, "Hey, that soap really felt great. It felt amazing. Where's your website? I would love to continue to order from you." So when I did that, it was like, oh, okay. And it really sparked from there. And it's been going good ever since. So we, 2 different bases of bar soaps, shea butter and olive oil. And I've been playing with some other new product lines that, will come out 2022-ish. Once it passes the test that it needs to pass. So that's another creative thing that I do. And then I am also a licensed notary in New York and New Jersey. And people go, "You can really make money off of a notary? They only charge like $2. But, being a notary is actually, especially in 2 states, is actually quite fun. because there are other licenses and certifications that you can get underneath that. So I also have a notary business, and I do traveling notary, I do mobile notary, I do online notary in the state of New Jersey. And I also do immigration forms, as well as I'm also a wedding officiant. So if you ever want to get married, I can perform your wedding.
All right. But don't leave out Vital Grounds.
Vital Grounds. So Vital Grounds is a little bit on hold right now, but we're looking at ways to resurrect it. Vital Grounds is a company that I have with my partner, Dailies Baldwin.
Shout out to Dailies.
And it really is his company, his vision, and he pulled me in to partner with him. And what Vital Grounds does is a movement that we started around hip hop, and I love for hip hop. I was born in the heart of hip hop, 1520 Cedric Avenue, apartment 4A.
Shout out to the BX. It's an uptown thing.
It is. That's home for me and my sisters, my family. And he is, again, he may be a Harlem dude, but he's so Bronx to his heart is crazy. And we both, our love for hip hop stemming from junior high school, even earlier than that, but really stemming from junior high school. And he just wanted to bring something positive to the world of hip hop, workshops highlighting artists, highlighting the positivity within the movement. We saw there was a big shift in what was happening. So we wanted to speak up on it, talk about health and hip hop, health and mental health, hip hop and mental health. Just again, highlight the positivity that is hip hop, how it is not just a music, but it is a full-fledged culture. It's truly something that our people, again, we're talking about creatives and people, our people created this whole dynamic. They merged and mixed all these different musical entities and created this genre called hip hop that is now taking over the whole entire world. Sometimes it gets a bad stigma. Sometimes our children don't know the history and plight of it. So while we are one company among many who are doing that, we pride ourselves in what we do when we can around just highlighting the positivity and the richness and culture that is hip hop. So that's Vital Grounds.
I love Vital Grounds. I've gone to events, is out of this world. So I'm definitely looking forward to when everything comes back together and you get that popping and rolling again. Yeah. Hip hop, comics, they come together, they blend perfectly. Sure do. It's almost like peanut butter and jelly, how it comes together. You know what I'm saying? Like it just really, really works. We see evidence of it in things like Spider-Man, Miles Morales, right? So like that's a big thing right now. This is Spider-Man week. Everybody's going crazy about the No Way Home movie. Not sure if you've seen it yet.
Not yet. So no spoilers.
No spoilers here. I'm going to keep it clean. Won't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to ruin it for everybody, but throughout a little video on that just to let y'all know, you got to check it out. It's official. It's definitely a treat for the fans. But there's a lot of talk about flipping, like not just like race swapping characters.
Okay.
Right? So we see there's not a spoiler. If you've seen Amazing Spider-Man from several years ago with Andrew Garfield, we know that Electro in the comic book, he was a Caucasian. Now, in the movie, cinematically, Jamie Foxx is portraying the character of Electro. We have a so-called black Spider-Man in Miles Morales, like we just mentioned, right? And he's gained a lot of traction, a lot of popularity in a very short amount of time.
Right.
Do you feel like it's great because now brother got a job because he can play a character in the movie, and that's always great when we got some employment, employment goes up for us? Or do you view it more as like tokenism? Should it just be whatever they were initially created as, let them be that no matter how well they're portrayed? Or just maybe Jamie Foxx could have been the Blue Marvel or somebody else or anybody else that is actually a so-called black character that hasn't been pushed to the forefront yet, or maybe just create a new character altogether. What's your take on that?
That is a very loaded
question.
Ooh, baby.
Cups up on that.
Yeah,
That's what we do.
Cups up on that. My
Yeah,
goodness.
it's Cool Geeks. That's how we doing it.
So let me start off by saying that no, I don't think it's tokenism. Here's my take on that. I think it's necessary.
Okay.
I think it's necessary because we're part of the culture, we're part of the community, we're part of the comic universe.
Okay.
Period. And it does not matter what the comic universe looked like when we were kids or when it started out in the 50s, 60s, 30s. You know, comics books been around for a long time. Comic books aged with the time. So as time morphed, views morphed, what we saw in the comics started to take shape and look different. Stan Lee, shout out to Stan Lee. I think he just did it best, where he was at his time, where he was very inclusive of everyone and the plight of what was happening in the world through his comics. So when I see representation of who we are as a people within the world of comics, I think it's necessary because we're part of the world. We are part of a major part of the consumers of the comic world. We buy comics. We're into comics. It's a lot more people of color who do cosplay and have been into this genre that is not highlighted. So people think it's a young white boy thing when it really is a everybody thing. So when I see the crossovers, again, same like with TV, with music, you want to see things that are reaching the audience that's actually watching you. So if you've got a heavy population looking at comics, looking at the TV, reading these things, then why not give them something that's a representation of who they are? I also think it's important because one of the things that we need to see ourselves at, we are superheroes. We are not villains.
Absolutely.
And even if we are villains, we still in the comics. Like, so what? But when you think about it from that perspective and you look at it, representation matters. And I think it's very important to be able to see us the same way as when I was growing up and all they had was white Barbies. And when the black Barbies started coming out, that was representation. Like, we had a doll that looked like us.
That was mainstream.
That was mainstream.
Right. And that's so that's the thing, because every time we do something, it's always got to be kind of underground, right?
No, we don't need underground. We're in lifetime with everyone else. And just to top it off, if we're coexisting, walking in this world together, then we need to coexist in the comic space. We need to coexist in the movie space, in the music space, in the TV space. We can't just now I feel like there's a space just for us in the comic world? Absolutely. Because we haven't had that.
So when we go mainstream, right? How much, being that we don't own enough, or in many cases, anything, how much control do we retain over the way we're depicted? So is it necessarily a good thing? So we're getting more shine, but is it truly us that's shining, or is it somebody else's narrative of us? Now it turns into a sort of glorified, quote unquote, black face.
As long as we still have the issues that we have in the world, we're always going to run up against that. But the world is opening up, it's expanding, and it's doing things in a way where we have more control over our image, more than we give ourselves credit for. Okay. And we've got artists now really taking control of our image and what our children see. There's always going to be the media hype and what they try to portray, but I think the world is waking up enough where the cycle is shifting. There's a lot of amazing creators out here that are coming out with some amazing Black comics that, shout out to the Schomburg, who puts on an annual event every year.
Yes, that's about to be back in effect January.
Yeah. And so when you think about that and you go to these type of shows and you see how crowded it is, because it's not negative stereotypes of who we are. It's highlighting the excellence that we are and the heroes that we are every day. And they're putting it in form. Some of them are historical narratives in comic form. Some of them are hip hop narratives in comic form. Some of them are just straight comics. But they just are a representation of who we are. A superhero is someone who is doing something for the greater good of the people. That's the definition of a superhero. Somebody who is out there. So when I see us in a positive light, I get excited.
Yeah, it's
Period.
definitely a very cool thing.
Yeah, and we have control over that. We have control over that because we can create, we're in a space now in the time in this world where we can create what we look like.
So now that DC is in the works of creating a Black Superman movie with starring Michael B. Jordan, right? Everybody loves Michael B. Jordan. Shout out to Killmonger. Salute. Great job. MCU killed that. The Black Panther. Rest in peace. You know, Chadwick Boseman, always got to shout him out. Growing up, Superman was always the creme de la creme of superheroes, right? Like he was the first superhero, the most powerful one, sometimes being so powerful kind of worked against him. Right. He gets his powers from the sun. Right. So we know that if they're going to deal with that and they're going to take it that route. So now if you got this melanated person over here that gets his power from the sun, and we know that complexion does play a role in the ability to deal with the sun to a degree, even though everybody should use sunscreen, but some people can tolerate it better than others, right?
Right.
Would they now have to deal with, could this possibly make Michael B. Jordan's take on Superman possibly physically stronger and more powerful than, say, a Christopher Reeves? You know, is that a can of worms that they may possibly be willing to unravel?
I don't think mainstream media is ready for that. I think they're ready for representation. I don't think they're ready to
for all that. It's a little too much.
That's a little too much for them to be digging deep. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's just my opinion on it.
Right.
But who knows? Again, I don't see any issue with Michael B. Jordan playing Superman. Why not? When I was growing up, I wanted to be Wonder Woman. I had my wristlets. I had my lasso. I had the outfit. My father hated it. Why are you looking at this white woman and idolizing her? I was like, no, Daddy, I'm looking at this woman who is strong, who can beat the pants off of any man. And she got this. Like, I would run home and look at this. She was doing it.
You had the bracelets. You had the Wonder Woman bracelets going.
Wonder Woman bracelets.
The lasso of truth.
Listen.
You was ready for it?
I was ready.
Okay.
We was going. And that was me as a kid. Like, I loved it. I never missed an episode. I never missed a comic. I was on it. And then my dad found through a friend, family friend, a picture of a Black Wonder Woman. And I knew existed. And while I still love the regular Wonder Woman as it was introduced to me, I became even more enamored because I saw that I too am a Wonder Woman the same way. So I don't think it's wrong that they were always typecast as white. That's just at the time where we were when these things came out. It is systemically what society does in media. But I also applaud, and I don't think there's anything wrong with seeing our faces in those same roles. Because again, I think representation is necessary, and I think it shows that we're no different. We're as mighty as what the original is. The whole thing to me is, and dare I say it, because some people might come after me, take away the color and just look at what the premise of a superhero does. And that is what the takeaway should be. These are people who are going above and beyond. They have a special gift and or talent, and they are using that to help people who are in need, period. They are out here doing amazing things. And I can point to I can name off the top of my head probably about a few hundred people that I've met over my lifetime that are out here superheroing that look like me and you. So it doesn't make any difference whether you're in the comics and you're wearing a cape or you're out here in real life and you're really doing the work in the streets. We can all be superheroes.
100% facts on that. Yeah. So taking it to the street, bringing it out, We want to make sure that we shouted out a real life Wonder Woman here. You know what I'm saying? Miss Rasheeda, Frazier, empowering greatness, giving perspective, letting it be known where and how we can find and get our superheroes and then find and touch that superhero that's in all of us that has goals and things that go far reaching beyond maybe what we were told that we could do. So if you want to get your thing going, let them know where they can find you at.
I am on social media, Facebook and Instagram at empower_great. I am also, or you can just type in Empower Great. You can also find me on my website, www.empowergreat.com, and by email, which is empowergreat@gmail.com.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So thank you once again for coming through.
You are so welcome. I had fun doing this.
Hey, this is what it's about, man. Listen, it's all about a good time, having a good time, chopping it up. You know, we just talking real.
Right.
We just talking intelligently. We having fun with it. And we just letting people know, you know, there's different voices, there's different perspectives, there's different schools of thought. And we able to like go in on it and just, you know, fully unpack it.
Right.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good. So cups up on that. Cool
Cups
Geeks
up.
Tribunal. Welcome to the Tribunal. Thank you for hanging out with me.
I appreciate the invite.
All right, we out. Salute. Peace.
Within us all live a Superman. Within our souls to survive. Don't you wish you were a Superman? Or don't you wish you were a Superman?